Hey Miguel, thanks for your video and for that really powerful question about whether or not philosophy causes me to experience a kind of intellectual anguish or suffering or an intellectual nausea. And I don't think it usually does because I never, or at least I've come not to expect the intellect to be an end in itself. It's a means. Thinking um, is a means to an end which is other than itself. The end is knowing. But I don't think that knowledge is a narrowly intellectual or cognitive um, thing. Knowledge involves the heart. It involves the body. It involves emotion, sympathy. It involves perception. Um, and so, as a philosopher, what I would experience anguish in the face of is probably not, um, failing to have an answer to a particular intellectual puzzle, but I think really what causes me suffering in my thoughtful pursuit of knowledge is memory loss, forgetfulness, because the intellect really feeds upon the uh, agility of the memory. Um, and if we are unable to recall not just facts or abstract concepts that we've come to know and understand in the past, but if we begin to forget our experiences with others, the episodes that we have shared with those we care about in our lives, then our whole personal narrative begins to break down. So, memory, I think, is something that I find more vulnerable um, than my intellect. I just don't expect um, some sort of certainty from my intellect. I see thinking as a method or means to the end, which is knowledge or wisdom. But when you get to a certain point, there's a sort of circularity that develops between thinking and knowing. So that wisdom isn't like the result of the accumulation of a lot of correct thoughts. Uh, More so, it's a balancing act where, while remaining skeptical, you still participate fully in the moral sense, in a moral sense in the world. So, a scientist, as a skeptic, will try to separate just knowing true facts about the world from how one ought to behave vis-a-vis those facts. But wisdom, I think, is precisely coming to unify those two things to make the mind or the intellect and the heart part of a single circuit when coming into relation with the world. So, so yeah, I guess if there's anguish, it's from memory or the fear of memory loss. Then I think as we age, we kind of inevitably experience. Um, so yeah, thanks for your question, Miguel, and let me know if I answered clearly enough, or if you want to continue the conversation. Uh, I'd like to ask you maybe how you relate to philosophy today. I take it some years after having studied it in college. Does it still serve or play a living role in your life, or has it kind of receded into the background? And if so, why? I'd be curious to know. So yeah, thanks a lot.